The silence in my bedroom felt like it was pressing against my chest, heavy and unyielding. I sat on the edge of my bed, my phone clutched tightly in both hands, staring at it until the glow faded into black. My heart was hammering, thrashing against my ribs like a trapped bird. Just minutes ago, a nurse from the city hospital had called, asking if I was ready for my pre-op appointment tomorrow morning. I froze, my voice catching like a cracked vinyl record as I whispered, "Pre-op appointment?" Her voice was calm but confused. She flipped through digital files, fingers tapping at keys I couldn't see, before confirming the unthinkable. My surgery was officially scheduled for the upcoming Tuesday. My hands went numb. I had no idea. Not a single word had been said to me. The betrayal hit like a hammer. My own mother had taken that call a week ago and decided, without asking, to keep it from me. I felt the room tilt and sway. My parents, people I had trusted with every part of my life, had been moving pieces of me around without my knowledge. I was a ghost in my own home, required only for appearances. My reality had been hijacked. I glanced at the calendar on my wall. Next Tuesday, blank and innocuous, now carried a weight so heavy it made my fingers tremble. I could have been wheeled into a room under anesthesia without even knowing why. The thought made me shiver. My name is Brandy Baines, and until that phone call, I believed I was the one in charge of my recovery. I'm 16, the age when you first taste independence, when control over your own life starts to matter. For months, a dull ache in my chest had grown into something far more frightening. I had sat through doctor visits, MRI scans, and endless notes, each appointment a battle against my own fear. I was meticulous, organized, and careful. I liked order and clarity. Being left in the dark was like sandpaper against my soul. And yet, here I was. My maturity, my responsibility, treated as an inconvenience. I stood up shakily, walked to the mirror, and looked at myself. The girl staring back was not powerless, but she had been treated as such. She deserved to know her own fate. She deserved to face it head-on, not through whispered conversations and hidden envelopes. The house was unnervingly quiet as I crept down the hallway toward the kitchen. It was supposed to be a Saturday like any other. The aroma of baking cookies, soft laughter, maybe a movie later. But it felt alien, foreign, as though I had wandered into a home that wasn't mine. For weeks I had been asking questions. Do we have a confirmed date yet? Did the surgeon call back? Each time, my mother would look me in the eye, smile her practiced, comforting smile, and tell me it was all pending insurance paperwork. My father, ever the background presence, would nod from behind his newspaper, adding that these things take time, and I shouldn't worry my head about it. I trusted them. I had to. Or at least I thought I did. I assumed the hospital would call me directly because I was the one whose chest ached, the one undergoing the procedure. I was wrong. They had intercepted the news. Every moment of waiting, every anxious glance at my phone, they had watched, knowing the truth already existed, tucked away in my mother's purse or in some drawer. The dishonesty felt like a physical weight pressing down on me. I reached the kitchen and saw her there, humming softly while sorting a stack of mail. Julia, my mother, looked normal. Innocent. For a moment I wondered if the nurse had made a mistake. But then I saw her hand hesitate over a thick white envelope. My pulse spiked. This was the woman who had raised me to always tell the truth. Yet now she was guarding a secret that involved my literal survival. The invisible threat was no longer just my condition. It was that my parents had decided I no longer had a say in my own life. I felt a surge of heat, anger, fear, shock. They weren't protecting me from the fear, they were stealing my agency. If they could hide a surgery date, what else had they hidden? Was my condition worse than they said? Was the recovery going to be longer, more painful? The uncertainty was poison. I decided then, I wouldn't scream. I would find the proof first. I would navigate the silence they had created. By 3 a.m., the world felt different. The lies were asleep, the truth might be easier to find. Barefoot on the cold hardwood floors, heart racing, I crept into the kitchen. My hands shook as I opened the junk drawer, the repository of important but hidden things. Menus, spare keys, pens. And then, a thick envelope with the hospital's logo. I froze. My name was printed on it, bold and clinical, along with the procedure code and the date. Next Tuesday, 6 a.m. 10 days ago, this had been mailed to the house. 10 nights my parents had silently watched me eat, asking questions, never telling me the truth. I held the envelope as if it were a bomb, realizing this was the pivot. I wasn't just a girl waiting for news anymore. I was a girl with evidence of betrayal. I snapped a photo with my phone, thumb hovering over send, to my best friend, but I stopped. Evidence alone wasn't enough. I needed to know why. I went to my father's home office, rarely entered, and my eyes caught a notepad with scribbles from a phone call. The surgeon's name was at the top. Beneath it, in my father's handwriting, "Don't tell Brandy yet. She'll panic. We will tell her the night before." The cold realization hit me harder than the surgery itself. My emotions, perfectly valid, had been treated as a problem to be managed. They saw me as a burden who couldn't handle reality. This wasn't love. This was control masquerading as care. I felt a coldness settle into my chest that I wouldn't shake for days. The next morning, breakfast happened as if nothing had changed. My mother poured orange juice with a wink. "For your strength," she said. I smiled back, hollow and empty, letting the words bounce off the walls of a house that had become alien. I retreated to my room and called the hospital myself. For the first time in months, the fog lifted. I confirmed the time, pre-op fasting instructions, transport, and insurance copay. The coordinator seemed surprised, but I didn't care. I had reclaimed my right to know, my right to plan. I packed a small bag, a soft robe, headphones, journal. Hidden at the back of the closet, it became a symbol of my independence. I was preparing not just for surgery, but for life without people who kept me in the dark. By Monday, the tension in the house was palpable. My parents whispered in hallways, glancing at my door, rehearsing their reveal. I decided to preempt them. I walked into the living room where they sat and stood tall. "I know about Tuesday," I said. Silence followed. My mother's face went pale, hand to throat. My father's remote clattered to the floor. "Brandy, we were going to tell you tonight," they stammered. I looked at them with measured calm. "The hospital called me 3 days ago. Why did you hide it?" "We wanted you to have one last normal week," my mother pleaded. "We didn't want you living in fear for 10 days. It was for you." "You didn't do it for me," I said, voice low, sharp. "You did it for yourself. You chose comfort over my right to know what was happening to my own body. You intercepted my records. You lied. That's not protection. That's disrespect." The confrontation left them stunned. The plan they thought would protect me had backfired. Instead, it forced me to grow faster than I ever imagined. "I've confirmed everything with the hospital," I added. "I have transport. I don't need you to handle me anymore." That night, I couldn't sleep. I went to the kitchen for water and found my mother crying quietly. "We were just scared," she whispered. "We thought if we made it real, it would make the surgery more dangerous." I shook my head. 2 more months of waiting and the doctor said we'd be talking about survival, not a procedure. Your silence could have cost me my life. The reality hit her like a freight train. Her choice was not just a misstep. It was a dangerous misjudgment. Tuesday morning, 5 a.m., the medical transport van arrived. My parents hovered at the door, small and anxious, wanting to drive me to control my check-in. I picked up my bag. "I need to do this myself," I said. The cool morning air felt like freedom. I wasn't walking in as a victim. I was walking in as the owner of my fate. Fear still lingered, but it was mine alone. At the hospital, white lights and antiseptic greeted me. I checked in, signed forms, changed into the thin blue gown. I asked questions, documented everything. My parents arrived but followed my lead. They saw a version of me they hadn't known. Someone strong, competent, unbroken. I was directing my care. I was no longer a passive participant. As the IV went in, I looked at my parents. "Love without respect is just control," I said, the line rehearsed in my head. My mother tried to protest, but my father stayed her hand. I had created boundaries, rules for how I would be treated from now on. Independence wasn't just an idea, it was a reality. The surgery lasted 6 hours. I woke groggy, sore, but alive. I had survived betrayal, and that made recovery almost easy. I was conscious of every choice, every moment. Now, sitting in my aunt's guest room, I write this. I'm healing, physically and emotionally. My parents no longer hide information. The boundaries are clear. Honesty first, respect mandatory. Silence is not protection, it is a cage. My life, my body, my truth belong to me. I walked into the hospital alone, but I came out whole. I am Brandy Baines, no longer a secret kept from myself. No one gets to decide how I meet my fear. I am the one holding the pen.